In this video, our fastest unboxing yet. Welcome back, everyone. For those of you who are new here, I'm Jason from the Everlanders, and this is our custom-built overland truck. It's taken us from our home in Canada through the United States down to Mexico, all the way back up to Canada to the Arctic Ocean, through Mexico again, and through Guatemala. And as you can imagine, we've been over all kind of terrain, from ice and snow to mud, shale roads, bouldering off-road in the desert, climbing over trees, driving on soft beach sand, and we even take it on pavement from time to time. And what do all those terrains have in common? Our tires. And where the rubber meets the road, there's the highest chance of something going wrong. Our tires are simultaneously the most important component on our vehicle and the most vulnerable. TPMS monitors are the difference between early detection, where you can stop on the side of the road and patch a small hole, and something going catastrophically wrong. If you run at low tire pressures, you could have delamination of your sidewall, or worse yet, have shredding a tire and damaging your rim or wheel. Now, of course, most modern cars come with TPMS monitors built into the valve stems, and they will throw a dummy light on your dash. But because we air up and air down and need more information than that, we've gone with a more robust system with a lot more information. Okay, so this is our tire pressure monitoring system. It was donated to us by one of our viewers, and it's the Pressure Pro tire monitoring system, the original unit. And as you can see by the diagram, it was intended for use on semi-trucks and trailers, but it works just fine for us. And every time I jump in the truck to start it up, I just scroll through and check all our tire pressures. And as you can see, I run my front axle at 40 and the back at 60. We did make a video about this when we originally installed it a couple of years ago, and it's been working fine since then. But Pressure Pro recently reached out to us and said that this unit was discontinued and out of production before we even installed it. And they had a new unit, the Pulse FX. So they've sent that out to us. And so we're going to compare old and busted, new hotness.
Old and busted, new hotness.
All right, so if you've watched our channel for any length of time, you know I'm not a fan of slow unboxings. So without any further ado, our fastest unboxing yet. Well, that was fast. There you have her. The Pulse FX by Pressure Pro. Let's get this thing installed. Okay, so I've had a quick read through the user's guide. The main receiver here has a SMA connector for the coax cable that goes to the dipole antenna. That gets routed and stuck up on your windshield eventually. And then the power is supplied by a typical cigarette lighter, and that just plugs in the bottom here. Click, and plug that into the cigarette lighter. And that's installation handled, the not so hard part of the hardware. From here, of course, you need to get your app installed on your smartphone of choice and get the tire pressure sensors installed on the tires. So let's do that now. All right. So obviously you're going to need to install the Pressure Pro app on your smart device using the Apple App Store or Android's Play Store, and then connect to the Pulse FX. So as you can see, it's available as a device. Click on that. Success. Okay. Start programming. Got it. I'm sure I'll figure it out. So select your vehicle type. This is the primary vehicle, 4-wheel. Yes. You could choose 6-wheel, 10-wheel, etc. Oh wow, buses. Amazing. We're a 4-wheel. Save. Got it. Programming node. So this is a pretty clever feature that was on our original Pressure Pro. which we don't need here now. Take the old one off. And so you can program these new version of these new sensors with new air. All right, so that just goes to show you, I pulled the old sensor off and the monitor started blaring inside there. So after 2 years, they're still running strong. But let's get these new ones installed. It's really simple to install. You just click on the tire position you want to install a new sensor. And as you can see here at the top, it's using the new air method, which means once you install this in the tire valve stem, it will come online and send a signal with the tire pressure that it's now detecting, and then it will pop up on screen like this and say tire pressure is 60. Is this correct? Yes. Sensor added successfully. Let's go to the next tire. And now I'm going to install the front left, so I click on that. Scanning for new sensor. Put that on there. New sensor found, 43 PSI, is this correct? Yes. Sensor added successfully. Let's go to the other side. So in addition to the new air method, you can also add the new sensor using a camera and the QR code, which is printed right on each sensor. So let's click that. Hello? There it is. Spin this sensor off. Spin this one on. It doesn't know the PSI probably because I hadn't installed it yet. Sensor added successfully. One more to go. Let's go. All right, at the front right corner now, I'm going to use the new air method for this one because it seems just a little faster. Spin the new sensors on there. New sensor found, 43 PSI, correct. Save. Save. And there we have it, a little pictogram of our vehicle, 42 and 43 PSI on the front, 60 and unknown on the rear right. Might just take a minute for that one to pop in here. All right, in our last video, everybody commented I should have put a sensor on our spare tire, just to keep an eye on it. Nothing worse than a flat tire that's also flat. So I asked Pressure Pro to send out an spare sensor, so I've got that here. Unfortunately, this pictogram on screen does not have a position for a spare tire. But what is possible is to add a second vehicle. So what I'm doing here is I'll just count the spare tire as a trailer. Got it, trailer, two-wheel trailer, save. Add the sensor, blah, blah, blah. Got it. Tire position, click here, using new air, scan for new sensor, install that here. And in just a jiffy, it should pop up. This one's about 80 or 82 PSI. 82, called it. Save, would you like to continue? Yes, great job, you're a hero. Super. Got it. 82 is fine. Save, congratulations. Go to viewing mode. All right, now as you can see on screen here, nice pictogram of the vehicle with 40 at the front, 60 at the rear, and the trailer is at 82. All right, so I've played around with the app a little bit. It's really intuitive and straightforward. As you can see, the 4 tires here, 43 PSI on the front, 60 on the rear, and I've got my temperatures set in Celsius, although there is the option between Fahrenheit and Celsius, PSI, KPA, or bar if you're European, and then switching between your vehicles here at the bottom. Now, as I said, I've got my spare tire programmed as a trailer, which brings up a really great feature about the Pressure Pro Pulse FX, is it will store in memory, I believe, 5 trailers, and it knows which trailer you're pulling based on which wheels are following you down the highway. So just being able to hitch up to one and take off, and the system knows which tires are following you, that seems really clever. We don't have trailers, of course, but if you have a fifth wheel or a camper of any kind, or boats and campers, whatever you're pulling, that looks like a really neat feature.
6 months later.
Well, as you can tell by my long, luxurious locks, it's been a few months. We have the Pulse FX and the antenna mounted there on our Hall of Fame rear window, and that's given me a few months to give it a good, thorough shakedown and make sure it's everything it claims to be. I really can't stand product review or unboxing videos where they've literally taken it out of the box and spent 5 minutes with it and then endorse it. So I want to do honest by you guys and make sure that it's as honest as it can be. So for the most part, everything works as expected, as advertised, which shouldn't be a surprise because the Pressure Pro Pulse FX is built on a long legacy of wireless TPMS products, and so they've built on top of that. So the connection, wireless connection from the tires to the receiver unit is rock solid, as you'd expect. So I did have one little issue right out of the gate, and that was during my testing when I would pull off a wheel sensor and I had the phone in my hand with the vehicle off. It would play the alarm sound through the phone speaker just fine. That works as expected. And when I connected the phone to my Bluetooth stereo, it would play the audio through the Bluetooth stereo through our truck speakers, and that is also just fine. The problem was if I was driving and had the radio set to FM, for example, or through our Android Auto head unit, which is how we primarily consume our media, the stereo would believe that it was playing the alarm sound through the Bluetooth, and the receiver, the stereo Bluetooth receiver, was receiving the tones, but it wasn't selected as the active input, so it wouldn't play those tones and you wouldn't hear anything. The only way to know that the tire pressure was low is the receiver unit has a red glowing LED on it that blinks a glowing LED. I'll show you in a moment. And that wasn't, in my opinion, a sufficient notification. But I did email Pressure Pro and let them know that this is a use case that they hadn't considered possibly, and so they released some updates to the app, which I've just received. So let's go through it now, and I'll give you a little bit of a demo, and let's see how it works. Alright, so the first test, I've got the phone in the dash holster here, and I've got the app on screen, and I've got 39 pounds on the front left, 38 front right, 60 and 59 on the rear, and 19 degrees Celsius, about 70-ish Fahrenheit. And now I'll go pull off a wheel sensor and show you guys the warning. So, as you can see, the front left tire shows 0 PSI. It's beeping through the phone speaker, and the Pressure Pro receiver has a glowing red light blinking there, and that works as you'd expect. Okay, so now let's do a test with the app in the background. Let's say you're driving with Google Maps, for example, and you're on your way to someplace. Here's an alert. Low pressure on position 11. We'll get back to that. But that does as you'd expect with the app in the background. It periodically pops up a notification. Low tire pressure, position 11. So, good. Okay, for this test I've got music playing from the phone to the stereo via Bluetooth. Our boy Andrew Applepie. And as you can see, it's still showing the low pressure alert, as well as playing it over Bluetooth to the stereo. So now testing FM radio. I've tuned in to static for music copyright laws, but as you can see here, we're still connected by Bluetooth, and so the phone is sending alarm sounds from the phone to the stereo via Bluetooth, but we're not listening to Bluetooth, we're listening to FM, so there are no warning sounds being played. So the final test will be using our Android Auto head unit. I did a whole series of videos on how I built that, but it's connected to our stereo via the auxiliary input seen here, and as you can tell, the app still has the warning tire there. It's it believes it's playing a warning alarm sound, but nothing is coming through the audio or otherwise to our screen. The only saving grace is that I've positioned this Pressure Pro so that the glare of the screen blinks, as you can see there. It's also within view if I twist my shoulder over. But unfortunately, the way our dashboard is arranged, I've got doodads everywhere taking up my precious dash space already. So there wasn't really a good place where I could mount it up front, and wiring would have become more difficult. So overall, the TPMS part of it works as expected, as advertised, but you do need to be careful. Make sure that your phone is set to a setting that will play these sounds and alert you. There are some other little issues with the app that aren't really deal breakers, but a little bit of a head scratcher. For example, if you sort your apps alphabetically and find them alphabetically as I do, you can go down to T for tire pressure or TPMS. You won't find it there. It's not under P for pressure. It's under C, and then it's listed as consume. So they've done that because they have a consumer grade TPMS system and a fleet system for big semi operations that have many trucks to deal with. But the app shows up as consume. All right, another funny issue with the app is, as you can see, the pop-up notifications refer to tire position 11, 14, 21, and 24. To me, that doesn't mean anything. As a consumer with four wheels, I'm going to call them front right, front left, and so on. I did send them an email about that, and they said this is a historical industry standard thing that trucks with many tires refer to their tires as position 11, 14, and so on. But I wish they had a friendly name convention or an option that I could put the name of the tire as I saw fit. Front right, front left, and so on. Another little weird thing I kind of mentioned already is that the app will not start with the phone. So if you've gone out one night and your battery has died and you plug it in and recharge it, the app will not start when the phone restarts. You need to intentionally go and launch the app and make sure it's running so that you receive the notifications. Otherwise, you just get the blinking LED here. So if you're older than a millennial and depending on your phone isn't something you're into, they do make a version called just the Pulse Sans FX, and it has a display and presumably a buzzer that you can mount on your dash and have real-time information at your fingertips. That might be an option for you, but otherwise this works as advertised. There are some little glitches. Thankfully, they're all software app fixes that they can send out updates and even firmware updates for the device to do over-the-air firmware updates. So it is all something they can fix in the future. If there is some monumental change or the functionality changes significantly, I will put up a card up here and you can check out that updated video when it comes out. All right, so there you have it, our review of the Pulse FX. We were sent this unit at no cost for a review video, but our views are our own. We were not paid to say anything. We are paid by our supporting channel members, whose names you see here. It's their ongoing support that lets us continue traveling and making these videos as we go. So thank you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Perfect timing.